For today's lesson, you're going to need some scissors, colored paper. I've got some thicker stuff here. It's cardstock. Sometimes I pull stuff out of the recycling. A little bit thicker works better, but you can use thin paper, whatever colors you have around the house. You'll see here in this pile I have a glue stick. That is almost useless. It keeps popping off. What you really need is Scotch tape. Let's go over the various shapes and the ways of attachment. That means how do you get it to stick to the paper. You're going to need a background paper, and the first one we're looking at is tabs. Follow along and practice making the various shapes I'm explaining to you. Then you can end up with a good pile of things to build with. Plus you'll learn about all the different structures, shapes, and ways to attach things, and you'll get more ideas for building yours. Fringe is kind of like tab, that you're snipping into the paper and you're not cutting all the way through. But they're narrower cuts, thinner strips to make fringe. There's all different things you can do with the fringe too, because you could fold it up, you could wrap it around a pencil, and you can curl it out to the edges or into the center. I love fringe. If you've been following along the other videos when we were talking about pattern and design names, we talked about spiral. And it could be square, it could be triangular, circular. Spiral is not closed. You can walk into it kind of like a path curving around. In any shape, it has an open end. Slotted is another way to make cuts, again, not all the way through, and it's a great way to attach things. So just choose squares and have a cut on each side of one, and it makes that cross shape. It could be a great platform. Here I've taken the cylinders and made a snip in each one so that it could go on top of the other one, but kind of at an angle. Folding is very simple and you can do it a lot of different ways. Some people call it pleated and some people call it accordion fold or fan. When starting cone, think of an ice cream cone, it starts with a circle. And so if you fold a piece of paper in half and in half again, then you can cut off the corners and make it into that circle shape. You can always trim it. You might make it, this one's kind of an open cone, but maybe you want it skinnier and tighter, then you just wrap it around more. And you close it up with a piece of tape, and that's cone. Start with a circle. I wanted something a little bit taller, so I made a bigger cylinder, and now I'm doing some cuts in around the edge for fringe, because I love fringe. If you want to get the paper to curl, just wrap it around a pencil. It could be thick or thin for different curling shapes. Okay, see this glue stick? I've got a white piece of paper I'm gluing over so I don't get glue everywhere. Doesn't matter, because the glue stick does not work very well. You'll see later on I have to come back and tape it. So my tip for you is don't bother. Maybe it was the kind of paper I had, I don't know. Let's start thinking about where we want to put all of our shapes and attaching them to the paper. Again, get some tape and you can kind of arrange things, and once you know where you want it, then you can commit to taping it down to the paper. Cylinder. It's a long, hollow tube. How do you like my flower? I did this by making fringe, and I curled some to the outside and I curled some into the center using a pencil to curl it. This kind of light purple one next to it that just kind of laid down, that one I bent every other one. I folded each of the fringe, but I skipped one. I'm adding a slotted cylinder to my other slotted cylinders, and I made a cone on top so it looks like a little castle. Oh my gosh, wait till you see what I did with spiral. I fringed it! I'm going to take my folded piece of paper and I'm going to tape it up like stairs to the slotted cylinders as a little entryway up to the castle. You know, the more I work on this, the more ideas I keep getting. So I want to continue this now that I know how to make the different shapes. I didn't do anything that was a curl. Well, I kind of curled over on the flower shapes to the inside and the outside, but I could do more twisting and curling just on a piece of paper. And I could do something concentric, making the same shape inside of another shape, maybe just a little bit smaller, or one on the outside a little bit bigger. I'm just getting more and more ideas. I hope you are too. You know, the fun part about this is that you're making a little world you can kind of imagine yourself walking through. There's even a story that I'm starting to think about that goes with this kingdom of big flowers and walkways. You can make your own little world. You could keep it about color, you could keep it about shape. There's so many different elements or parts to this recipe. I hope you have enough ideas now about building to get you inspired to keep going. This one has that curl shape I was thinking about. And I see they had a spiral and a loop, some circle shapes for arches. This one has a lot of accordion, folding, pleating. This one's just all cylinders, which is kind of cool. I might like to try that. More folding, more fringe, circles and loops. This one's cool because of the way they outlined the shapes with black ink to make the lines show up. I love this arch. And this one uses all similar colors, what we might call monochromatic. It looks pretty cool. Love the stairs again. This one looks like a party. Use your imagination to make your own little place. Look at all the ideas. Good for cards too, and decorating. Keep cutting, keep taping, keep building.